it costs more for these pair of Jordans than it do to get your rights restored as a citizen of the United States. This is the application. I've already filled mine now. That hasn't been answered yet. The application is 17 pages long. I only printed out 2 pages because these are the 2 that I can explain to you for the ones, if you're just trying to get your firearm rights back. But the whole packet is for all your rights, voting, civil rights, everything, firearm rights. So as you can see, these Jordans, 200, 150, 300, and I know you guys, how many pair you got right now? How many pair you got? 2, 3, 4? I've met guys with 10 pair of Jordans, 20 pair of Jordans, convicted felons. Look, if you can see it, 159, 259, 300. Some go past 300, right? So again, it costs more for a pair of these than it does right now to put my first application in. I'm up to about $100. All right, you have to go and pay for a criminal background check. That's $20 at your local county courthouse. All right, that was $20. In your petition, you have to have at least three signed letters of people with unquestionable integrity in the community to say why you are a person deserving of firearm rights, why you trustworthy, why you should have your rights restored. So that was the most expensive part for me. I had to travel to get someone that I trust to write the letter, and then I had to pay the notary $50 to come where we were to have the letter notarized so that I could have it sent off. And that has to happen 3 times. So the first time it cost me $50. The second time it cost me $30. And the third person that I asked to do it, she went right up to FedEx and got it notarized for $4. All right, so that's about $84. Then, like I said, I had to go and get the criminal background check from the county courthouse. That was $20. So now we're talking about $104, $104, something like that. I lost count. All right, as you can see, all right. So again, that cost me $100. The cheapest these are right now I'm looking is $159. How many times have you bought those over and got nothing for it? You might look good once or twice, and I know y'all got several pair of these in your closet. Jordan 5, Jordan 6, retro Jordans, new Jordan, old Jordans. The problem is we don't know about this. I run into so many felons who have, either they made a mistake or even career criminals that no longer do crime, and they work now. They work, they go to job, they have kids, they are family men, but they don't know that they can have their rights restored and legally walk around and protect themselves with firearms. The information is out there, and when you think about the crime rate and the rate of people going back in, this information should also be in the package you get when you on the way to prison or any kind of instruction they give you. When you making parole, you get a parole packet. This should be in there. It's from the parole board. Anyway, nevertheless, people don't know about it, man, and that's called ignorance. And ignorance is no one's fault but the person, is you. It'll be your fault. So if you're ignorant to the fact that you can do something about your situation and helping, and you don't do it, then that's only your fault. All right. I like to look at we on the channel. We take an examine of rappers like right now we actually looking at the YNW Melly case. But we like to take a look at rappers who could have done something about getting their rights restored and not potentially caught more cases in the future. 2 of my favorites are Boosie Badass, and Filthy Rich. Now I can't say I'm sorry. I said two of my favorites. They're not two of my favorites. They are two of the most people that stood out to me when I started this. Because Boosie, I know for a fact that he was a felon, but I also know that he went on a long run where he was very productive to the community. He was doing positive things. He had a movie company, making movies, making music, signing artists. You know, Young Blue was multi-platinum. Um, Building stuff, building communities, teaching, leading. He was a stand-up guy in the community, especially when you come from a faulty background. Now it's at a point where he's being caught with pistols. He hasn't had his rights restored. He hasn't had the right to carry firearms given back to him. So the things that he's doing is illegal. Then he get caught with it, and you bounce from fed to state, fed to state. I honestly don't know how it works, but I do know that he could have avoided all this with an application. You know, I put mine in about 2 months ago, and I haven't heard anything yet. The guy that told me about this, shout out to Butler. I think he got a YouTube page too, but he told me the first time it took him about 8 or 9 months, and he was denied. He had to put in again, and it took a little while, denied again, and I think he got it the third time. So this is a fight worth fighting, because I always think, when people hear, it's gonna take a while, you keep fighting for it, and it's gonna take a while, and all this and all that. I understand, but you think about it like this, okay? If someone told you, man, it's gonna take 2 years to get that done. Well, time don't stop. All right, I know 2 years and it's nothing small, but when 2 years get here, you look up and say, damn, if I started 2 years ago, I'd have had it by now. So that's what happens with that. So you go ahead and get started, and you go ahead and get that situation out there. So in the future, and on the channel, we'll be looking at, we're going to be doing interviews with convicts. Preferably the ones who, we ain't gonna get nobody in trouble. We ain't gonna put their face on the screen or no names, but guys who have turned their lives over, no longer do crime, and are successful or at least are part of the community. And they're doing the right thing the right way, but they have needs to protect themselves also. We're going to be interviewing those guys. Y'all want to stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe. We're going to be looking over how we got at this point. And what I mean is, myself included. I'll just talk about me so no one will feel offended. But I feel like I was fuel for the system. If you've ever seen the movie Matrix, then it's sort of like that, as to where, there's so many traps set up for, I try not to go, there are traps set up, and if you're not aware of them and you'll fall into them, then it can affect you for the rest of your life. In my circumstance, or in my case, what I mean is, I became a convicted felon at 14 years old. I'm damn near 40 now. Sentence completed. I paid my debt to the community, but I'm still paying. And if I didn't know about this, even with this, when I get my rights restored, it'll still be on my record. So we need to know these things so that we won't fall victim to them. I mean, small stuff, domestic crime, domestic disputes. These stuff will disqualify you and take your rights forever, especially if you don't know how to get them back. So these are the things we're going to be going. Like I was saying, elaborate a little bit more. As to be fuel for the system. And I got this from my guy Ayo Canseco, Big Fats Podcast. But he talk about a lot about nabs and nans. If you want to know what those are, just go on over to his station. I ain't gonna. So I don't want to discredit my parents, but if I'm not born in a winning situation, right? with parents with college backgrounds and good history, good blood, some kind of money that can help me along the way, especially if I get into trouble. If I'm born just a regular inner city youth that maybe missing a father from the home, whatever's going on, then you get into these traps where you committing felonies, or you doing wrong and you being bad, just like the normal average other person would do, but you pay for a lot longer, right? And even in a situation like I am right now, I've counted it as a blessing because I haven't been able to go and get the traditional job like a person would get. I can get a job, but it's going to be the bottom of the bottom where they breaking backs at, cutting grass in 102-degree weather. All right, cleaning toilets at Walmart, pushing buggies, delivering pizzas. You're not gonna get the kind of corporate jobs or the kind of stuff that you can sustain and make a life off of, and that's not no one's fault or problem. You understand? If you've been in, I was in there for almost a decade. So if you've been somewhere studying for a decade and you ain't studying the right thing, why would a person hire you? Right? So it leaves you in a position where you have to kind of take what you get. So me, I created income for myself. I did start a landscaping company, and I started a major liquidations company. Just like today, I made a little money today. Wasn't nothing spectacular, but it's a lot more than I would have made on the job, and I didn't put in those hours. All right. So anyway, back to this. We're gonna get to the restoration, man. You can go on the internet and print this out. State Board of Pardons and Paroles. Print out the application, fill it out, see if you meet the criteria. I printed out page 14 because it specifically speaks to the firearm rights. I'll read this one for you real quick. Applicants for restoration of firearm rights will be considered only if the applicant has completed his or her full sentence obligation, including serving any probated sentence and paying any fine, and has been free of supervision, custodial or non-custodial, and or criminal involvement for at least 5 consecutive years. Therefore, as well as 5 consecutive years immediately prior to applying, unless the applicant is a registered sex offender, in which instance the applicant must have completed his or her full sentence obligation and been free of supervision and or criminal involvement for at least 10 consecutive years thereafter, as well as 10 consecutive years immediately prior to applying. Okay, so basically that's saying if you done your years, you got out, no parole, no probation, 5 years. If you've been clean 5 years, you ain't been in and out of jail, you ain't been getting in trouble, you've been an asset to society, then you should apply for your rights. You should probably have your rights restored. Don't wait, do it now. It'll only benefit you. Thanks for watching, man. Stay tuned. Catch y'all on the next one.